Well, just give us a run through of how they bounced back from the first two-a-day and went out there today.
Not bad, not bad. I think, we slept in this morning, went to church, and, came back. I think sometimes when, you sleep in, you get rested, you realize how tired you are. So I think we started slow, but came along in the end. I love the effort in the two-a-day yesterday. I was pleased with what we did there, but started a little slow, and then execution starts to get sloppy. We're down, when you get this time of year, you're getting some of the injuries with guys. I think we're down 4 wide receivers and 2 tight ends down. So, when you're trying to throw the ball, and it gets a little tricky.
So, you've done this often enough. You knew there'd be that kind of little bit of letdown there.
Yeah, you know what it is? We kind of got on them. The practice ended much better than it started because you kind of knew that. We said that in the staff meeting today, that the guys are going to slow down a little bit just because they got to sleep in. But, overall, I'm pretty pleased with our execution that we had today. That's one of the reasons we went inside is we wanted to kind of be clean in our execution. So I was pleased with that.
Is that where having so many veterans on our team really helps you through a time like this too?
Boy, we have a lot of veterans. It doesn't seem that way out there on the field. At some positions we do. A couple here and there, but veteran quarterbacks and veteran O-linemen and a running back when the ones go. But see, when you're in training camp, too, a lot of it, you're going 1s, 2s, and 3s are all getting reps. So, it's not like a game where you just have the veterans. There's a lot of young faces getting a lot of reps. So they're fighting through it and learning. Most of our installation's basically done, and so now it's just kind of clean, putting it all together and improving.
What's the learning process been like in the sense of like Tyler with that new defense kind of unleashed on him, and then kind of the defense learning from how Tyler's playing?
You know what? I think it helps. Obviously, it helps. Defensively, have a quarterback that can, do different things that'll, that is going to put you in bad situations and can throw the football. He's pretty experienced. He make a lot of checks, and you get it misaligned, and he's going to check into a play that's going to hurt you. And so I think that really puts a lot of pressure on them in being sound in what they do. And and anytime, as many different looks that we want. I want the defense to give him as many different looks as possible just to prepare him for as much crazy stuff as he can see.
I think last week you said you look forward to the intensity picking up once exams were over and kind of installation. Did you start to see that pick up a little bit?
Yesterday I did. I was pleased yesterday. A lot of times the first two-a-day, we were outside for both practices. It's hot, and but you know what? They responded. I think they worked really hard. And then, and today they got a break. The next couple of days are really where you're going to see that. We got 5 practices in 3 days. So we're really going to get to see that the next couple of days. This is going to be the toughest part of training camp over the next 72 hours.
How's Dak Prescott coming along now?
Doing good. He's coming. He's working good. He's throwing the ball, better at times. He's been inconsistent at times, but I think he threw the ball pretty well today. I was pleased with how he was throwing the ball today.
About 10 days in, what's the progression been like from say day 1 until now?
Well, it's a lot. There's so much learning going on with guys right now, and but you've seen a lot of improvement, and one thing that we do is you don't want to spend a lot of time on just the feel-good stuff, and getting, just running plays and seeing guys do things they do really, really well. You want to see the improvement all along, and put guys in some difficult situations on both sides of the ball. I think we've done our coaches have worked hard to do that. Our players have responded well to that. And I think the team's kind of coming together. I think, this in training camp now, especially now that school's over, we're kind of at the hotel. We're locked away from the rest of the world. This is where that team builds. It's a huge thing, that's this year's team. And even though guys have been around or been in the program a long time, the shelf life of the team is 1 year. This is the 2013 team. This is all we have is the 1 year together as this specific team. So this is kind of a huge time for them to grow together.
Coach Collins yesterday Saturday talked about a lot of players having the intelligence but needing to anticipate plays. A lot of the younger plays. You see that kind of coming along? Or?
Yeah, well, I think it is. It's translating everything now into game situations. You're going to get more into situational stuff. So it's guys, they know what to do, how to do it, but all of a sudden you put it in to context. Okay, now it's in a 2-minute situation. How do I react and run this stuff in that situation? Hey, it's 3rd and long. We're doing a 3rd down scrimmage. Okay, well, I'm going to play the defense a little bit differently. I'm going to play the offense and block it a little bit differently because I'm going to get a much different reaction on 3rd down than I am on 1st down from the other side of the ball. And I think it's incorporating all of that into what you're doing on the field.
They were talking yesterday about Bernardrick and how he's just been all over the place and tallying juice points like nobody's business. Have you seen that too, and what have you seen from him?
Well, I mean, being the middle linebacker, you got to be a leader of the defense. So I think it's very important for him, and we talk about that. He has to have a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. I mean, if he's the leader, he's the guy in the middle of the defense. He's setting that standard. I mean, he can't expect anybody to be any higher than him. Everyone's going to be below him. So wherever he sets it, that's going to be as high as we're probably going to go. And I think he's done a good job trying every day to come in. And that's one of the hard things. When you're that guy, you can't have a down day. Even emotionally, if you're just doing your job and maybe you just don't have the juice, well, that's going to lower the juice of everybody else because they're not going to go above you. You're the leader. So I think he's done a pretty good job of trying to be that emotional guy on the field and keep that high energy.
Even though you don't have a guy score juice points in offense, is there a kind of a juice guy, or maybe one or two or three you've noticed in offense?
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of guys, that do it. And, you want your quarterback to be Tyler's not the most emotional guy in the world, which is okay. But, the one key to that is, though, it's hard. Bernardrick is that way. Mm-hmm. Tyler's not. But they know they can feed off of Tyler's. Tyler's emotion is going to be shown in different ways. And it's good because you can't pretend it. You can't fake that. So, I mean, to Tyler, it's, they come in the huddle and when he speaks, they listen, so it's him being on top of his game that way. And that meant that kind of that general on the field. And even though he might not be a cheerleader, he's going to lead them the right way.
You brought in iPads at the beginning of spring to kind of like transition to the playbooks. What have they kind of brought to the table?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, the kids, that's how they use things, how they learn. They're even way ahead of me on it all. But I do think it is. I think a lot of times, hey, I'm not forgetting my paper and my notebook and my pen, and hey, and I lost that. You got your iPad, and on it, it's got your playbook, it's got your offense, defense, special teams, it's got the game film, it's got practice film. I mean, it's got your class notes. I mean, it's one thing. It's all you need. So.
What was the decision behind it? Like, what was the decision process to kind of like move into that direction?
I mean, just keep up in technology. When you look what's out there, I mean, to me, we're educators. So what are the best way to educate 18 to 22-year-olds and the best way in which they learn? And for us, I think the iPad really can incorporate anything. And not just it has the actual playbook. You can take notes in it, but you can add the video aspect, and you can have voiceovers and all that stuff. So you can really use about 4 different ways of learning, and you can specify on how each kid learns to get them the help that they need.
So it can't be a dog ate my playbook kind of thing now.
Yeah, it'll be bad if they lose it. Right? It's much more expensive notebook that they're losing than a dog ate their homework. But but I think the kids like it. I mean, the kids that's kind of how that's how they do things in their world. So I'm still learning to kind of write on it with the pen. What's it called? A stylist? There you go. All right.
And every player
I
got
can
one?
use my finger. Oh yeah, they have that. Well, because they have a notebook for class. That's how they take their notes in class. I have the Brookstone keyboard, right? Because I'm more of a typer, but I kind of get all my stuff done that way. But I think you've seen it. I think it's helped not just in football. It's also helped in the classroom.
When you look at the tight end position, how, with some of the players not being there yesterday, 2 days ago, how did they kind of step in and fill the roles of Halo Johnson?
Tricky. Yeah, we have, when you got guys with, Brandon had a funeral yesterday, and, Milton had a funeral yesterday. And so, but, I mean, for us, this time of year, it's all about opportunity. It's the next guy in, the next guy up, especially this time of year. There's a lot of opportunities out there. We stress for those guys. These are the opportunities because, you're getting a lot of reps with 1s and 2s and 3s. You come game day, there's 70 reps to be had. So the opportunities are going to start becoming less and less and less and less. And, so when guys aren't there, it just kind of opens the door for somebody else to step in and take that opportunity.
Do you think that changes the approach of some of the veteran players, like wide receiving core, not a lot of experience coming back? Do you think that changes their approach of, instead of being that guy and creating that competition?
Well, I think in that position, it's such a wide open competition. Everybody knows. I mean, it's your opportunity to perform on a daily basis. I mean, there's not, there's not anything set in stone. I mean, nothing's been decided at that position. I'll promise you that in the depth chart or any of that stuff of who's going to, play, who's not going to play, who's starting, what the rotation's going to be, any of that. It is just pure opportunity to see at the end of training camp who's made the most plays, who does things the right way, and is in the best opportunity to get on the field and go.
So you watch for the energy tomorrow morning when they get back out there?
I think we'll be okay, though. I think, they got to sleep in a little bit today, and by going inside, we went indoors today. With that, we expected the next tomorrow to be a grind for them, and want to make sure that they're prepared to go and give what we are asking.
Weird question, Dan, but when you look at the coaching tenures of assistants, especially in this league, how have you and Les lasted this long? Because you're the only one that's only had one offensive coordinator
Am I?
in the last 4 years. Yeah,
That's pretty crazy right there.
how have you and Les and John kind of lasted this long?
Oh, I might have to go make some changes, I guess. Or something.
Seriously, though, seriously though,
All right, I'll stir it up right now. I'm going to say.
It seems like
I've read sometimes there's like teams that do that, right? Make change this time of year. No, you know what? I think philosophically it's that match, and it's always important, especially I'm more of an offensive-minded head coach and a quarterback-oriented head coach, so you have to have somebody in that position that you're going to meld well with. You know what I mean? That there can become a lot of tension or conflict or one of those things. And I think, Les and I have a good relationship that, we're a good fit together in those kind of how our personalities mend. We're not the same, because that probably wouldn't work. And we're not completely different. That probably wouldn't work. I think just a nice combination together. And I think that certainly helps. And, I'm in the same with a lot of our other offensive coaches.
Can you talk about the family aspect of the staff? I mean, Billy talked yesterday about, you had a meeting and said, hey, I don't know when your kids start school, but take your kid to school on the first day. That's important to me. He'd never heard that before.
You know what? I think it is. I think we get lost sometimes in coaching, in what's important. I want our guys. To be honest with you, I look at them and tell them, say, we might not be able to pay you what other schools in this league pay everybody. But as part of a quality of life here, I want our coaches to have good quality of life. I don't want any coach to ever look back on our staff, and I certainly don't want my kids to look back and say, hey, my dad was never around. I know they're going to probably say that already because of how much time we put in, but there's certain things, first day of school, having your dad be able to take you to school on the first day of school, or, have your dad take you out trick-or-treating, or making sure that, you're spending time with a family at Christmas, or, honestly, during the season, if there's a big Little League game, or if there's a big, we don't play Pop Warner here, whatever, but rec league games, that, dad can show up and do that. So we might not be able to be the coach, like other people do, but you know what, we're still going to be around enough that you have that great quality of life. So I think that's certainly helped in keeping coaches here, because they can look and say, hey, you know what, I can be a football coach, but I also can be a husband and a father here as well and live that sort of lifestyle.
Talk about Nico Whitley in the spring. Obviously, he looked like he was back to where he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think he's back healthy. I tell you what, he's taken a lot of steps forward, not just as a football player. He's always been a pretty good football player. Just his demeanor, how he handles himself, his preparation, and even trying to, in his own way, be a leader. I know he's not a rah-rah guy, but in his own way, doing things the right way, believing and buying into the program. And I think that's huge for us and for him in his future.
That's good.